Hello, everybody. I hope all of y'all are having a good day today. It's Friday here in the Philippines. It's April 4th here in the Philippines, but in America, it is April the 3rd. And April the 3rd, 17 years ago today, was the day that I went into the hospital to have surgery. And I woke up and my life had been flipped upside down. I had a major stroke during surgery, and I was paralyzed on my left side, and to top it all off, I was having neck surgery, and whenever I started having complications, they kind of panicked and flipped me over, and when they did, somehow or another, they severed the nerve that controls my right arm. And my right arm was actually more dead, more paralyzed than my left side. And matter of fact, they hooked me up later on, weeks later, to a little machine where they would run electricity from here and down to my hand to see if it would connect. And they told me that it was totally severed and that I would never be able to use this arm again. And that's the arm that I'm using right now to hold this camera. So when it comes to God, don't say never, because with him all things are possible. So anyway, they told me I'd never use this arm again, and eventually after I come to know God, I've gotten back about as much as I'm going to get, and I'm happy with that. I remember 17 years ago, whenever I had the stroke, I woke up thinking my life is over. My best years are behind me. What can I do now? I have nothing to offer the world. I remember 2 years later in 2010, I decided I wasn't going to live that way. I took probably 90, 100 Valium, and was thinking I'd just go to sleep. And 21 days later, I woke from a coma, and most of you guys know my testimony. I kind of went through an ordeal while I was in my coma. And 2 years after that, 2012, I met the Lord and experienced his love. I heard his voice, and my life was totally changed forever. And I remember before I come to know God, people would tell me, God's got a plan for you, Billy. You wouldn't be alive if he didn't. God's got a plan for you. And I remember thinking, well, if he does, he better hurry up, because I don't have much life left in this body. So I didn't know the kind of power that God had. When I was young, I went to a church that told us God's just there, and you pray and thank him for stuff, but he don't do nothing for you. And he's pretty much just doesn't affect your life at all. And so I didn't know what to expect, but whenever I became born again, June 14th of 2012, I learned that power. And I remember thinking, golly, God, I knew you had a plan for me to do something. I was like, I don't know what you got planned for me, but I'm 45 years old now, Father. I don't know what we're gonna do. I had no idea. I'd be on top of a mountain in the middle of the jungle in Southeast Asia, feeding and clothing thousands and thousands of people, not just children, but people in general, and sharing my testimony and sharing revelations and messages all over this island and all over YouTube and Facebook. God is good, and never say never with God, because I thought my best years were behind me, and they're not. I have a very good friend. His name is David. He lives in California now, and we met probably 8 years ago, and his daughter Octavia was born the day that I had this stroke, and that's kind of our connection together. And David had a similar experience as I did, coming to know God, and he and his wife Jay have played a major role in Future Love, our nonprofit here. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are today. They played a major role in Future Love. There's a few people like that, but David and his wife Jay have played a major role, and I knew that they were going to be a big part of our life because of his daughter being born the day that I thought my life was over. And So anyway, it's amazing how God works like that. So anyway, today is my 17-year stroke anniversary, and I couldn't think of a better way to spend it than helping somebody. We had somebody send some money specifically for the lady that you guys have seen in the video a few times who has the really big goiter and there's nothing they can do surgically or medication-wise now. It's just gotten too big. And they sent some money specifically for her, so we're going to go and pick up rice and spend every bit of that money on this lady and for her family, and just so she can have something to be happy about today. Couldn't think of anything better than doing something like that. 17 years today, 17-year stroke anniversary. Don't ever think that your best years are behind you. Don't ever think that you're too old and that God can't have a plan for you. I am living proof. I'm a walking and talking example that whenever you think your life is over, that's when God says, okay, your life is over, but I'm fixing to live an amazing life through you, and I'm going to show the world my power. Never count God out. I love you all. God bless.